Good morning again, everybody, and welcome to Manhattan Developmental Disabilities Monthly Meeting. I am Kathy Rocho Kelly, and I am honored to chair this council. We'll start our meeting with announcements, and we'll use the raise hand function in Zoom. So if you have an announcement, we will call on you as we go around. And then once we do the virtual round, we will then do any announcements in the room here. We are being hosted today at Center for Family Support in Midtown Manhattan. Beautiful location, beautiful space. And we have probably a good dozen people here. So it's great to see everybody in person and welcome more and more people as we come back to in-person modalities. So starting with announcements, Manawati,
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I can't be there in person.
cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now? Oh, gosh. How about now?
We can hear you.
Still cannot hear
We
you.
can hear you.
We can.
Let me put it in the chat to let them know.
Thank you.
Maybe it's the sound on our end.
Yes.
If it's easier, I can put our announcement in the chat.
Hear you. I think it's the one in the room that they don't hear you, but here in the chat we able to.
Thank you.
Having no problem.
You're good.
Yeah, put it in the chat for right now.
Okay.
But we have to figure out this problem on their end.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. Why can't I? Kathy, can you hear us?
Yes, now we can.
Okay. She's gonna put it in the chat, but you could do it. You can now say it out loud if you want.
Thank you. I just
Okay.
wanted
There
to
you
say,
go.
wonderful. Again, I'm sorry I'm not there in person. ACA has our provider fair today. And Wendy couldn't be here, but on behalf of the Manhattan Family and Providers Information Committee, we are going to be moving our November meeting to December 17th from 10 to 12. And the topic will be family support services with a focus on underutilized programs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Casey?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Family reimbursement, we have funds available in all 5 boroughs. I'll put my contact information in the chat along with the flyer for that program. Please email me if you need an application, instructions on how to submit it to me. We also have the free eval program in Bronx. This is Manhattan, so I don't mention that. We have the free eval program, and I'll put that program's flyer in the chat as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Casey. Jay?
Good morning. LifeSpire has Manhattan behavior management and parent training available. We can do that either remotely or in the home. It's for families having behavioral issues with their kids, with their individuals. So I'll put all my contact information into the chat. Thanks.
Thanks, Jay. Any other announcements?
Yes. Hi. I, for some reason, cannot find my raise hand chat. Hi, Alana Katz from the DD Council. I also work for O Healthy Cesra, and we have funds available for family reimbursement in Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn.
Being treated with IV.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but can people put themselves on mute? We can hear a lot of chattering in the back, and it's very difficult to listen to the announcements. I'm sorry.
I'll monitor it.
Thanks. If everybody could go on mute if you're not actively speaking. Aruda from YAI, please.
Good morning, everyone. Orada from YICSIDD. Just wanted to announce that we are accepting referral for our Manhattan program as well as the other regions that we do cover. To send in a referral, I will be attaching the referral form and information on the chat. Thank you.
Thanks. Mark?
Hi, I haven't been here in almost 15 years, but hi, my name is Mark Sarabian. At the JCC in Manhattan, we have a free assistive technology program for all ages, from preschool to older adults now. So if I'm going to put all my information in the chat, and anybody needs any assistive tech support for individuals or for professionals, it's all free. All right, nice to see you all.
Thank you, and welcome back. Any other announcements? Then we'll start going around the room here.
Yes. Hi,
Yes.
everyone. My name is Matthew Sang. I'm with YAI, and I wanted to highlight that Manhattan Social Skills Group. It is a social skills group for Manhattan residents, age 9 and up, with a diagnosis of autism. It is a family support program, and the next series is starting January 22nd, going through March 26th. Going through March, it's 10 sessions. And we are serving children from 9 to 17 this time around. The last series was with adults. So now we are serving children as young as 9 to 17 years old. And it's going to be on Thursdays from 4:30 to 6 o'clock. So if you want more information, our flyers in here, and email grouptraining@yai.org for more information. And I also have crisis intervention as well, flyers.
Thank you, Matt. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Diana Collins from the Center for Family Support. We have vacancies in our Day Have Without Walls program in all 5 boroughs, as well as vacancies in community-based pre-vote. We'll also take the referrals for ETPs and also always have ongoing openings for compensation. And we also have plenty of money for family reimbursement, as does everyone else.
Thank you. Anyone else going around?
Anyone else have a question? No? We're still working on this. Audio?
This meeting is being recorded.
Do an announcement? Nope. Okay, then we shall move on to New York City DOH/MH. Brianna, any updates?
Hi, good morning. We have no updates at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. OPWDD updates. Contessa?
Yes, good morning.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, a couple of updates. First of all, I'm Contessa Officer. For those who have not met me, I just started with OPWDD in October. So looking forward to attending these meetings and really supporting this group. I know it's very important. So just a few updates. We do actually have, I am the Deputy Director for the Metro, which is Bronx and Manhattan. And we do have another Deputy Director that just started this week. Her name is Jennifer Morrison Diallo. You will get an opportunity to be introduced to her in the near future. She is a new deputy director. She's going to be supporting Region 3 and 4, which is a part of our quality management and technical assistance, which is more of internal quality measurement in different within that unit. But again, I'll give her an opportunity to introduce herself in the near future. And she will also be located in Manhattan. An update, the New Age Out Award is expected to be released this month, and it's going to actually be the letter of intent, meaning that individual will be able to apply to develop housing for residential school graduates. So this is for those who are aging out. And this is an award that will be available for application, but the letter of intent and more information will be provided. Again, this is for individuals who will be able to provide residential opportunities for those who are graduating and leaving residential schools. Also, the FIADM revisions are underway. These revisions are expected to provide clarification on individual directed goods and services. So this is part of self-direction and the dispute resolution process. And additional information will be shared once available. Also, the distribution of our units within OPWDD has changed. And I will put this in the chat for you, but this is how moving forward OPWDD will be working in terms of their deputy directors and the different units. So for instance, myself, I'm going to be overseeing the front door, waiver, and eligibility units. Michelle Giuliano will be overseeing self-direction, crisis, and fiscal. Nina Gritzi will be overseeing housing and development. And our new Deputy Director, Jennifer Morrison-Diallo, will be overseeing our QMTA, which again is Quality Management and Technical Assistance. I'll pop that in the chat, but that just gives you an idea of which Deputy Director, you can reach out to depending on what needs you have. And I'll also put my contact information there. And that's it for updates at this time.
Thank you, Contessa. Any other questions for Contessa? Then we shall move on to our guest presentation. And we're going to have a presentation this morning on home enabling supports. So Megan, you want to take over?
Are not problem. Technology, y'all, see it's up. The echo, please. I did have in the room, for those who are in the room, some low-tech examples of technologies that could be covered under this new. Hello? While you're waiting for that to hopefully happen. Can folks get their mail? You can have. You can, this will read out on the information. Think about your life.
You guys wait for a minute. There's major echoing and we can't hear anything on the Zoom.
Sorry, yeah.
It's okay. We want to hear you, but we can't. No.
And then we can try.
Okay. Can I talk just so everyone can hear if there's an echo? Please. No.
Now I can hear you great.
Excellent. Great, perfect. Thank you so much. I hope you took some time to took care of whatever you need to while we had that break. So good. I can move from here. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nadine Daly, as you saw from the screen, and I work here at CFS. I'm in charge of engagement, innovations, and advocacy. And advocacy and innovations are kind of my bread and butter. It's what's I believe will change the outcomes for people that we support across the not-for-profit space. We're always trying to look at the best way to support people to have the life that they want for themselves. And I'm joined here today by Megan O'Sullivan from Simply Home, and I'll let Megan introduce herself.
Thanks, Nadine. It's always a pleasure to join you. We're really excited about this new HES waiver and getting information out to everybody across the state, frankly, because it's really exciting. It's a new option for people who are looking to be more independent and more independent. You know, in the past, the only thing that really was accessible was the assistive technology money, which proved challenging. And I know that New York Alliance and a lot of the advocates worked really hard to get OPWDD to help them move this. Ooh, now we're getting the echo again. I don't want to torture you. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. To move this forward. We do, Simply Home is a national company, and we work in a number of different states that have waivers like this. And New York took a lot of information from other states and really picked some of the best parts of that. So we're really excited to move this forward and hope that it's going to create a lot of great outcomes for people. And we just wanted to take a second before we get started to sort of focus our thoughts on what sort of technology this new home enabling supports waiver will fund. And there's really two main goals in that with that home enabling supports waiver. The first is to support independence in the home and the community. And the other is less reliance or need to have in-person staff. So you can imagine and we're going to go through a couple of examples, that this potentially has the potential to obviously increase the independence, but also relieve some of that staffing crisis that does exist. So Nadine's going to go through some of what we know. This is an ongoing process with OPWDD. They have a wonderful community of practice that the 8 home enabling support providers have formed, and they're working very closely with OPWDD to get this rolled out in a timely way. My understanding is that we're really probably looking at February for the actual rollout, but there are things that can be done now in preparation that are going to make that rollout smoother.
Okay, great. Exactly as Megan said, and Megan and I have been engaged in kind of what we're calling the roadshow, letting everyone know that this is available and out there, because you all as family members and leaders in your organization, you start asking for it, then it'll have momentum behind it. We've been working, as Megan said, there are 8 providers of this technology, 8 providers authorized to put forth this technology to support anyone who asks for this technology. And the Center for Family Support is one of those providers in this area. We also are in the Long Island area. So if you live in Long Island, or you know of any of your folk or families that live in Long Island, we are also authorized to provide the support in the Long Island area. And we want to, as I think I've learned throughout communication with OPWDD across this year, that this is a build out from the person-centered planning process. It's the understanding that people who are involved in their life need to have better outcomes, and we can support outcomes for folk in all kinds of ways, just as we support outcomes for ourselves in all kinds of ways. And that technology should be considered as much as anything else right now. And technology consists of a variety of things. I would say to you all, you could probably build an autonomous plan or a plan to support somebody with a various technology options that are out there, and will help you to understand and keep the person safe and help them to achieve the independence that they want. So I want to back up a little. Again, so think again of your person-centered process. It has to come from the person-centered process. It would never be Nadine coming to your house and say, hey, this technology, no, it has to come from your planning process. It starts at planning with either your support circle, you all, or your care managers, whoever is in that team of advocacy. And if you have a goal currently that you may not be able to realize, or you don't have staff to help it realize, that may be one of the goals that you consider a technology support for. Or if you have a goal that could be achieved, think of things like people getting out into the community and learning their community. Sometimes it's good to have someone with you, but at a certain point, to really develop the skill of building and becoming embedded in your community, you need to have some opportunities to try the things that you've learned, and the technology may support that. It may bridge that because it covers everything, and Megan will go over more specifically but it covers many things. I brought in the room for you all that are online. In the room, I brought some low technology stuff, which includes things like safety gloves to help people utilize the oven and handle pots without burning themselves. It includes bowls that stay still so they don't move around the room, so that it can help people with greater autonomy with eating and less reliance on staff to help them eat. It includes something as simple as, which is my favorite, because if anyone knows me, I'm big into cleaning, a garbage can that you just have to wave your hand over, or your elbow, or any part of your body that you can get close to the sensor. You don't have to have full control of your limbs to have autonomy for something simple as emptying your garbage. So there are a range of stuff. And then there are things like the Ring doorbell, and Ring sounds very like broad scope. It's very, anyone who wants that can have that, right? It's not a technology that says, oh, that's the disabled person's home because they have this special technology. Ring is a technology that anyone can use to support themselves. You can be upstairs in your bed and identify the person at the door, and or your caregiver could have maybe a greater sense of peace of mind because they know that you're not going to the door and answering the door to everyone that comes to the door. So those are the enhancements that you can think of. And really it takes conversation and probably some forethought about what's going on now and what can be translated to a technology support. I'm going to go a little bit into what our home enabling supports. I'm not going to take all of your time, obviously. But so again, you learn a new acronym. And I hate that because last week, I think I said, we're going to have a home enabling support presentation on Tuesday. And then someone say, what is that? The STD support. So yes, there's all these acronyms that we have to learn consistently, and home enabling support's one of them. It's a subcomponent. So for you who are leaders or agency heads and all, it's a subcomponent of the assistive technology category that we already have, where you can apply for things like ramps and those kinds of tech. It covers assistive devices, which you'll see some of those. And what is considered an assistive device is very broad, right? Like I said, in the room, I have something that's a back scrubber, right? To help with greater independence in someone showering themselves. That may be part of it. There are things like shower chairs that can take a person from sitting into the tub. So it ranges in terms of what it can cover. Assistive devices, technology, and or remote supports and or health assessment coordination services. So assistive devices, technology, and or remote supports, and that's a different thing, and or health assessment coordination and services, HACS. And health association, HACS are really, think of like being able to, think of a platform like StationMD, if any one of you are familiar with those platforms that allow people to have virtual healthcare. Think of you being able to have contact with someone and they kind of review what is going on with you as a person and tell you whether you need to go to the ER or whether you need to go and get assessed, or it can wait till the next day. It will have a lot of impact on the overload of people going to the ER for minimal things, because they can get a support screen in here. It also, and I think, Diana, do we use StationMD here at CFS now? We use it in some of our group homes now, but it can also be used to support people who are living in their community currently and help maintain that living. Because as people age in the community, you don't want to now have to go into a nursing home. You can stay in place with a lot of these technologies. It's Medicaid funded devices and supports that relate to an assessed need and have the following projected valued outcome. Please, those are all the outcomes. OPWDD stresses that very much. It is designed not to replace anyone, right? It's not to replace staff. It's designed to increase, maintain, or improve the person who has the technology, their safety in their home. So for example, something like a Ring doorbell. I can know who's at the door. I won't just go and randomly open the door. Or I can open my door from my phone, whereas before I needed staff in my home opening my door, monitoring what I did because they weren't sure who I was going to let in or how safe I would be. One of the other major valued outcomes to increase, maintain, or improve the person's independence in their home. And Megan will talk a little bit about sensors that can turn the lights off when you walk around or that will help with cooking so that it can remind the person that the stove is still on and they need to attend to the stove, and also send out a remote to you who's their next level of oversight and say, hey, Nadine's alarm went off. She forgot to turn the stove off. How can you, thank you for letting me know you couldn't see the slide. As you hopefully can see, the tech guy is right over my shoulder trying to solve these issues. That one there. See, is that moving, Di?
That one looks like
It's amazing. We're spending our day talking about technology and the technology won't work. That one was frozen, I think Anthony? Yeah.
Now is it doing it or no?
Yeah, they're
Just
not-
because is it updating now? Just because they were getting no.
So they
It
were
should be
stuck
now.
on the first one.
Okay, move the slide and we'll see. Did it move?
I just got through it.
Yeah, it moved. Move it
Okay.
again. Move it again, just so we could see.
Great.
Yeah, yeah, now it's working.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you for letting me know. It's very hard for me to sit and teach too. I usually ask Megan, I'm walking all over the place. That's how I get my steps in. But in any event, again, you see on the screen, hopefully, home enabling supports, what it is, what it's designed to do, improve these outcomes, improve the person's health outcomes. And that's the HACS support, where people can have readily information about what's going on with themselves and be involved in their healthcare, that they can become more autonomous in managing their health and have the desired outcomes that they want. Maintain or improve meaningful participation in the community. And that's where I talk about being a little flexible in terms of how you look at the supports. For example, something like a boundary care watch, which is like an Apple Watch. It may help for oversight, right? So someone can be an oversight that will receive emergency call if someone is in danger or someone moves outside of what they have decided. This is where we're going. All of a sudden they're not there. They can touch the boundary care watch and or you can call them on it. It also has the ability to create boundaries gradually. So as we teach gradually how people travel in the community, we teach them with staff and the staff goes with them, and hopefully you want to titrate down staffing so the person can be independent. You can do the same thing with that, because what you can do is set parameters. And so for now, I only want to know how to go to my day supports. So the watch is programmed from that area. If I am outside of the day support area, the person who's my oversight gets an alert, hey, Nadine is outside of her day support area. I can call, check in on her and say, hey, Nadine, what's going on? Did you get turned around? Did you get lost? So it's still providing the support that you need for that person. And to minimize your reliance or the deferral of paid staff for supervision and or assistance. And I think that we realize in the field, given the rate of vacancy, that we need some supports besides in person. There are not enough folks to take all of the jobs that are needed for people. And people are missing out on meaningful experiences because if I don't have a staff, I can't. Now, maybe if I don't have a staff, I can have a technology that can bridge the gap till I get a staff, or do the introductory parts of it till I get a staff, or do the ending part. So I need an in-person to do several things, learn how to chop the carrots and safely. But now I have it down and I know to wear my gloves. I don't need that person anymore. I can just, if I need, call a remote support person and say, hey, Nadine, remember, these are the steps that you need. So that's what it's designed to do. I was excited that we were able to be part of this innovative process, because I believe that's where we're going to go more in that direction. I want to be clear for right now. I don't want to confuse you all. There are different pilots going on in different spaces. So there is a pilot going on to provide technology for people who live in certified residences. This technology, home enabling supports, is for people who live in non-certified residences. So you're living at home, you're living through self-direction, you're living with a roommate. That's what this particular pot, $5,000 pot, is designed to do. Will there be opportunity for it to be expanded? We are advocating for that. We're advocating for it to be utilized more broadly, but now it's so that we can see some success in this area. I don't want to go through that too much. Okay, I think I'll talk a little bit, Megan. So assistive tech devices, remote support, and HACS are three different things. And when we talk more, after Megan goes through this a little, which is the vision, right? This is what this could do. We want to talk more about what the plans will look like, because later on, the complexities of how this is set up is still being worked out. So I'll turn this over to you, Megan.
Great. Yeah, so Nadine already went through a number of examples, and a lot of when we're thinking about this, it's important to focus on the outcomes, right, that you're looking for. Because the smart lock, I can use a smart lock because I don't like to have my key. I just prefer to use a combination. But for someone with dexterity issues, that smart lock might be the key for them to become more independent. So that's sort of, you need to be thinking about that outcome. How can tech help people achieve what it is that they're looking for? I'm going to go through some other examples. So I think we'll, in terms of new options, the new support options that are going to be available with this sort of technology, it's really, and this is really what we see in other states, right? It's the ability to potentially have a sensor system that's offering prompts to that person so that they can self-support, right? So for example, like Nadine had said, they turned on the stove and they walked away. They can get a prompt that says, Megan, the stove is on, please go back to the kitchen. If I don't respond to that prompt, then we can get into the next new support option, which is that sensor system can communicate out to a parent, potentially, a staff, potentially, or the next layer is remote support DSPs. And this is where it's really exciting. This is what we see nationally as a trend, is the ability to include remote support DSPs as part of that person's plan as an option, right? So when somebody doesn't necessarily need 2 or 3 hours of consecutive support, but they might have a question in the morning or they want to talk to somebody quick in the evening, it's very difficult to get a staff to go there for 15 minutes, but you can absolutely have a remote DSP who can drop in, or that person can, the staff can drop in if the sensor system says that there's a need, like they aren't attending the cooking, or the smoke detector's gone off, or they flooded the bathroom, or they haven't taken their medications, any of those issues, staff can drop in. Or if the person has a question, they just hit the button on the two-way audiovisual and are connected with that remote support staff. So it really can create that opportunity for that person to potentially be independent on the overnight, or have their space to themselves in the morning or in the evening. When in the past, traditionally, they would have had staff who were right there. So tech kind of gets into that in-between zone of you're all on your own and you have staff who are standing right next to you. So that's like thinking about those new support options with this waiver. That's where I would focus. So just to go through some quick examples in terms of medications, because my background is nursing, I can't help myself. Looking at things like apps or other devices that can remind you, right? So really utilizing some of those devices, as well as you can use a contact sensor that can remind you, can give you a prompt. So the sensor's looking for you to access, say the medications are due at 8. At 8:15, it could say, Megan, it's time to take your medication. And then at 8:30, if I haven't yet accessed those medications, it will communicate that to remote DSP or to another caregiver. They can drop in two-way audiovisual and help me, remember to take the medication, or talk about why I didn't want to take it. And then again, like thinking about those outcomes, someone needs a little bit more help than that, because that's not enough support for a number of people. They really can use something that both organizes those medications as well as is able to communicate out, so that we know that they're looking at the dose for 8 a.m. at 8 a.m. We're not concerned that they're going to take the wrong medication. So again, it's that person-centered. It's important to have the right level of support, not too much and not too little. Cooking, we kind of went through that. That self-support, I love that as the option where, something is happening in the home and we're able to provide the audible prompt, whether that's, please go back to the kitchen, whether that's there's water on the floor in the bathroom, please, grab a towel, and then staff are going to drop in. Or it's, you have 15 minutes to go in the morning. Or I recently set something up for a person who he wanted help getting off video games at night. And so for him, we set up a sensor that if he's sitting in his gaming chair at 9:30, he gets a reminder, a prompt that says, you have 30 minutes of gaming remaining. And then at 10 o'clock, it says gaming time is over. And then at 10:15, it will communicate that out, because he likes to get excited when he's gaming and the neighbors were complaining. So this was just, he had identified that that this prompt might potentially help him. So really, again, providing those options of he gets to self-support with just the prompt. And then if he's needs an additional, layer, you can do those remote DSPs or other family or other supports. I talked a little bit about that Ring Video Doorbell. It's really important, and OPWDD has really stressed this, that it's not about monitoring, that it's about supporting that independence. So it's not about necessarily, we just need to know every time somebody comes to the door, but rather if that person is working on answering their own door, are we sure that we know, is a support person gonna see who's at the door and then be able to provide coaching if it's needed? But the plan is, if the coaching is not needed, that person is able to manage that on their own. Let's see. We already talked a little bit about sticking to the routines, and I apologize. And the Boundary Care Watches are also capable of doing those prompts as well as that GPS location. I did again another idea for a person that I was working with. He gets stuck in the bathroom in the mornings. So if he goes into the bathroom and then he doesn't come out in 15 minutes, he gets a prompt that says, David, it's Wednesday, you got to get going. And then his Boundary Care Watch can go, bzz, bzz, you gotta get going. And because currently his mom was having to come home from work because he was getting, just kind of stuck in that bathroom. So, not physically, just distracted. Oh, good. Yeah. So Boundary Care is really such a terrific device because it enables you to take those remote DSPs out into the community as well. So remote DSPs can drop in over a two-way audio visual in the home, but they can also drop in over a Boundary Care Watch. The watch, as we talked about, can have a GPS location. It also is capable of monitoring for seizure symptoms, those being elevated heart rate or decreased heart rate, oxygen saturation, as well as that repetitive motion that we sometimes see, as well as falls. So if there's a concern about falls, if we're concerned that this person is out in the community on their own or even at home on their own, what happens if they fall? If they want to wear a watch, that can be an added level of confidence for everybody that person can have a little bit more privacy and be more independent.
I agree. So when we started trying to support folk who have seizures, it was mats or that measure the person is not on the bed. So that means I've fallen, I'm on the floor. This is such a more advanced system. We just recently purchased it for someone, and I was able to call him. I was able to look on the phone that comes with it how many times he had called for help, if there were any inactivity. And it's just amazing because if now he can move around. Now, before we had a chair with a bed pad in it, with a seizure measuring pad. So he would kind of have to sit in that chair, because that's the only time we could measure if he was going to, if he fell. Then we had a whole pad in the bed with an audible system. We've been able to remove a lot of that. And now it's just this watch that looks like any other watch that we all are wearing, that he can have and move around, and much more independent, much more flexible. If you need backup systems, like you saw just this morning, tech fails all the time. And so we are intentional about creating physical backups as people learn this tech. You don't want to, here, you have a Boundary Care Watch, you no longer need this, and that's it, and you leave them alone. It's going to be a gradual, probably a time frame where you have both supports until you move completely to remote technology supports, because it's also a people getting comfortable. People, if I say to you, Mom, I'm going to have a staff from anywhere, New York, be able to check on your loved one, you're like, yeah. But if I tell you I have a staff right beside them, you still feel a little level of comfortability. Whether it's true or not, based on what we know of incidents and all of that, I don't know. So we have to continue to utilize what we can to move people forward. This really talks about Megan's portal. Did you want to talk about this at all?
Only that it's important to be able to access that data and utilize the data that's available. So whether that's on the Boundary Care Watch or on the back end of a sensor system, you're able to see where were we and measure, right? Because one of the things I often hear from people is the goalposts keep moving. Oh, you can be more independent, but we're not sure, the cooking, the medications, it's very difficult for people to actually achieve that goal. Versus if you're using tech, you can really set some hard measures and use that data to say, okay, well, when you've achieved 90% whatever medication adherence, then we're going to move into this next step. It gives everybody that comfort. You can see how many times 6 months ago did they, need a reminder about the stove versus now they don't need that reminder. They're doing so much better. Maybe we're ready for the next step of the fade. So just using data is really going to be one of the keys, and it's a requirement from OPWDD, which they're still working out in terms of what exactly is going to be required. But obviously, they want to make sure that they're getting good use out of their money, which makes sense.
10 minutes. So I have about 10 minutes. I'm going to give you just because people are thinking, well, how do I get this started? I think. And you start with your care management team. You start at the service planning phase. You start now from hearing about this and maybe examining one of the items in here or going and looking it up on the internet. I think you would never stop if you start there though, because there's so many things out there for folk to help them live a good, independent, autonomous life. But you start at the service planning. You need to have conversations with your care managers because they're going to move this forward. They're going to submit for the authorization for the person to be able to get tech. Once that authorization is received, then there's an assessment that's done by the Home Enabling Support Agency. If anyone is interested, I can send you a list of all the ones across, all the 8 that are across the state. We develop a plan, the Home Enabling Support Agency, along with you, develop a plan for Home Enabling Supports technology. If you have or are requesting remote supports or hacks, that plan is integrated into whatever Home Enabling Support plan you develop. Then there is an assessment. The Home Enabling Support Agency, just widespread vision, has some kind of relationship or knowledge about different tech that are out there that may be able to provide the support you've identified. There's implementation. The tech company usually is in charge of that right now in most spaces, so they will help with it. When Megan and I work together, it depends on how much it needs. Something like the Boundary Care Watch, it doesn't need anything but to be turned on. Something else may need sensors, it may need a plan of care that comes with it, all of those things. And then there's reporting that has to be done. OPWDD stresses that a lot because again, this is new, they want to scale it up. We have to report out on the results, and something like the portal that Megan's service provides will be very helpful in that. The care manager, again, all of there are on those different steps. You need a life plan. You need to have it authorized. So you will need that SART to have it authorized by the local DDRO. All of those things your care manager should know. I want to mention, you see right there, it says for Home Enabling Support, remote supports, the person must be age 15 or older. Like with most situations, they would not provide remote supports for anyone under 15 years old. Person is 15, they're going to be home for a couple of hours. They can also be eligible for remote supports technology. If they're 7, I wouldn't expect you to be leaving a 7-year-old at home. So I would not provide you with any remote supports for that. And then it has to be documented. It has to be part of a valued outcome, all of those things that you always require for authorization. If any of you wants this, which is which I think is a pretty good overview of the process, we will have the PowerPoint available for you. But then again, it goes through all of that process. You need the NOD. Once the NOD is done, then you have this HES provider with you, working with the CCOs to get this done. For all of you in the room, Megan and I have been doing the talk. I think I started off telling you with as many people have interested, the CCOs mainly now, so that they can start to build the knowledge. They can have care managers that will come to the meetings and say, hey, there's a home enabling, rather than you saying, hey, I heard there's home enabling support. Can you tell me more about it? So we're working together so that hopefully we all can be educated, and this can be a process that's not as choppy as some of the other forms of supports that they have. This can be much more embraced. Again, that just goes over the service authorization. step by step. I don't need to read it to you. All of the same steps that are involved in most of the kinds of supports that we provide are required for this one, including that documentation process. And I would say for you all, although we've been in conversation with OPWDD for a year now, the plan is that it should go live by February of 2026. The holdup has been these kinds of feedback. I think they probably, if they rolled it out like many of the other supports and ignored what we needed, it probably would have started and had stops and starts. They have been intentional about engaging the field. We have been intentional about sharing the information so we can hear your questions, not just and have a broad scope amount of feedback to them. And they have tweaked the process throughout to address what we've said. Well, this is going to be a problem. How are we going to share information? Hey, if Nadine has YAI for care management, but CFS for HES, how will they share information? What is protected under HIPAA? All of those things are being worked out. Based on our last conversations, they're creating a platform for the home enabling supports. That's it in a nutshell. Hopefully it's not too much overload. I invite all of you to look at technologies that we all use in our everyday life to make our lives the way we want. It's the same things that can be packaged into a $5,000 budget for everyone. That's it. Did anyone have any questions for Megan and I? Was there anything you want to end with, Megan, in the room and then also online? In the room, anyone? Questions? Yes.
How can we get the PowerPoint and the agencies, the list of the agencies?
We'll share that.
Yeah,
We'll share
if
with
you
you.
share with me, I will have that posted on our website with the video of today's meeting.
Okay, good.
I was the same thing that ATS provided.
Okay, yes. We'll share. Adapt is one of them I can say off my head. And they're in this area also. So Ronak and I have been working in conjunction with each other. And as we're sharing, we're trying to do this in a process where it will flow for everyone. So not in a competitive process, but in a process ironing out what we anticipate might be glitches before it starts. Although I'm sure there'll be some, but iron out as many as we can before we start. So yes, we can provide the PowerPoint and the list of the different providers for you at the end of this meeting. Any other questions from anyone? Go ahead.
Yeah, I know that OPW had issued the ADM for home enabling splits. It's got to be over a year ago at this point.
Yeah.
Given that there are still some things to iron out and finalize, will they be issuing a revised ADM?
I would say I don't know that they will be revising the ADM. Just based on our conversations, the holdup seems to be developing a platform where this information needs to be shared. Because if you think of the process, the care management team needs this home enabling support plan when they sit down now for review. Where will the documentation go for this home enabling support? Will it be the care management agency? So I receive in-person and I receive technology supports. Technology supports comes from a different agency than my in-person. There's my in-person staff and I don't want to go into the weeds because there's so many possible. My answer to that question is that the ADM may be revised, but as far as I know now, if you all go to the ADM and read through it, you'll get probably this same information. You'll garner at least this from it for right now. We are scheduled for our last meeting with OPWDD at the end of this year, and they will update us as to where they are in that platform that they're anticipating they're going to be utilizing for documenting all of this information. So I believe that has been the holdup.
And they really, in my last conversation with Ronak, they're making really good progress. Like from what we've seen in other states, like, a year ago, we knew that this was still a ways out. They have definitely, we're sort of into the nitty gritty now. So that February date, I'm thinking is, always may need a little bit of adjustment, but it's definitely coming soon.
But I think also you all kind of asking, the CCOs, initially they weren't involved. We do have a question online. The CCOs weren't involved. And we are like, well, you can't do this without involving them. There's no point in teaching us if you don't teach them, because now we're going to be struggling to explain to the care manager what the possibilities are. They have to have some knowledge base. So we're coming along and I think becoming a more cohesive body. I just wanted to recognize why can I unmute her?
We can take down the slides too. We can probably do
Unmute her.
this.
Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing for a moment so I can see the whole entire virtual room, hopefully, and I can address any hands that are raised. So, is this Sissy? Am I getting your name
Yeah,
right?
hi, hello.
I'm
I just
gonna,
want to say thank you for the presentation. It is amazing. I have a question for you.
absolutely, go ahead.
I was wondering if this service can be included in self-direction.
Yes, absolutely can be included in self-direction. I think we started off with the Elijah Conference in Suffolk County, which are primarily folk who self-direct as part of that conference. And yes, there is you have to have room in your budget for the $5,000. So if you have that room in your budget, then that person can apply for technology under that amount.
Wonderful, thank you.
There's a part, I don't know, Diana, if you've seen a self-direction plan lately, but if you look at it's a template, because I haven't done self-direction plans in a while, you'll see home enabling support as part of the template now, where that's a support you can check that you want. So you'll see the template for for self-direction has changed a little bit, Sissy, and it'll identify that as an option.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much for explaining.
You're welcome. And then I saw someone else, Mark.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. Is there a local committee or group supporting you to give you input? I mean, this is what I do for a living and my services are free. So if I can help in any way, I don't know.
Yes, so I'll share, if you don't have the email address for us, I will share both Megan and I email. Yes, we need to get the word out, and whatever way we can collaborate, we can look into further.
Anytime. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mark. Any other questions, either virtually or in the room? Any questions that I can answer, I'll answer. Any questions that I can't answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer to. And we will know soon. So I'm glad you all took the time to be part of this, because I believe this will be valuable. And always the expectation is that you continue to share it. You continue to ask, hey, I learned about this. When is it coming? And you will find that this will pick up speed and momentum, and hopefully be something that I envision that will be a benefit to all the folk we provide support to in this sphere. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Are we still sharing that, right? Okay, no.
Now, how do you follow that? So just want to continue on with some updates. Unfortunately, no one from IAC could be with us today, but they did provide a written report that I will just read some highlights from. So federal updates, as most people know, the government shutdown ended on November 12th with the passage of a continuing resolution to fund the government through January 30th. It should also be noted that this continuing resolution also included funding for the Department of Agriculture, which oversees the SNAP benefits, and that will be funded through September 2026. So that was extended for the full federal fiscal year. On the SNAP benefits, just to let people know that November benefits, I know there was a lot of back and forth about whether benefits would be issued. By now, everyone who is eligible for SNAP should have received their full SNAP benefits for the month of November. So those were all sent out and all issued to the cards over the past week. On other federal news, the Social Security Administration has announced a 2.8% COLA for the Social Security benefit increase that will begin in January 2026. And that applies to SSI as well as disability and other Social Security benefits. On state and city updates, I know that there have been many issues and challenges with Medicaid recertifications, and it's important to keep in mind that you need to recertify your Medicaid on an annual basis, and when you get those lovely notices in the mail, you do need to complete the recertification and return that. Providers can also access Medicaid information and get overall information on Medicaid through their MARC system. And they also provide training. New York City HRA, Human Resources Administration, does provide monthly training for providers on Medicaid eligibility and how to resolve some of the more common issues. On the OPWDD front, Guidehouse, the consultant firm that OPWDD had hired to review its self-direction model, has completed their final report, and that has been issued and is available on OPWDD's website. The final report provided 8 recommendations, including 32 activities to support those recommendations. There are 2 upcoming ADMs that will be released shortly. One is on the Staff Action Plan Program and billing requirements, which will provide some flexibility for the QIDP requirements needed for residential habilitation. So that will be released shortly, and there will be a 30-day review and comment period for that. In addition, there is also OPWDD will release or has released an informational memo informing providers of the requirement to provide information to people supported on the role of the IDD Ombuds program. So that is now a requirement. And then finally, the Justice Center has issued a new best practices toolkit on wheelchair securement in transportation. So you can access that at the Justice Center website. Other IAC news of note, today actually is a NIDA rally from starting right about now. So hopefully they are up there making some noise and rallying for some of the upcoming priorities for the upcoming budget. The NIDA asks include a recommended targeted inflationary increase of 2.7%. And there are also recommendations for infrastructure and care system investment, as well as CareForce affordability initiatives. And we'll have all of these included on the website. On the state education fund front, Reminder to all providers to complete your updated mandated reporter training. And education advocates are currently still developing their ask for this next state budget year. And so they're still working on that front. On the city level, we have a new mayor, and we're not sure who the next school's chancellor will be or if that will continue. So we're looking and staying tuned to find out how the new mayor will round out all of his support team. And IAC lobby days will be scheduled for February. And there will be education lobby days in May, on May 5th and 6th and May 12th. And again, we'll have a lot of these notes provided on our website. Moving on to committee reports. Manhattan Family Support Services Advisory Council. Mary or Jackie?
Should I start, Mary?
Yeah, go ahead, honey.
Good morning, everybody. So we are going to be having our next meeting on maximizing the money and benefits for the individuals. That's going to be on December 2nd, a Zoom. Now, we all know, everybody knows here that I'm technologically challenged, and since Mary doesn't have access, anybody who has the invite that wants to put it up in the chat would be much appreciated. I did want to mention that we had scheduled a presentation from a dentist who works with people with IDD and is also a sibling. We did have to postpone that just because of a conflict, but I just wanted to ask everybody, both people on the council and otherwise, to please, when you get our emails, please forward them to your groups, to any contacts, because we think all our meetings are important, but especially dental care is something that's a very sensitive area. And we'd like people to be able to have the techniques both in the office, but also for the home care, just sensory ideas and desensitization ideas from the perspective of a dentist, but also from a sibling. That's all I got, Mayor.
Thanks, Jackie. Anything to add, Mayor?
Yeah, just another note on Wednesday, December 3rd, we'll have our FSS statewide meeting with Albany from 11 to 3. And Jackie and I have sent out an email, but we will resend that. So we hope you all join that. That's a Zoom, or you can attend in person here, I believe, at Center for Family Support. Thanks.
Thanks, Mary and Jackie. Transition Committee, Andrew or Pat? Pat?
Good morning, everyone. Pat, Family Support Coordinator and co-chair of the Transition Committee. And our next meeting will be Wednesday, December 10th at 10 o'clock. And then it will be in person, also via Zoom. And we in person will meet at Chinese American Planning Council, located at 45 Southwood Street, 2nd floor. And Zoom, every time, every meeting is the same Zoom link. So I will post on the chat later. And the topic will be New York Connects. New York Connects provide information about services and resources that support people with a disability, help people connect with the resource that they need to achieve and maintain their independence. Person-centered benefit counseling, including eligibility screening. So there are a lot of things that you will learn from New York Connects. So please join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. And I know Manawati had to leave. I don't believe Wendy is with us today. Wendy? No. So we will have all of the upcoming committee meeting schedules on our website, and that's manhattanddcouncil.org. And we will have the video, this meeting, as all of our meetings are recorded. So within the next couple of days, we'll have the recording of this meeting up there, as well as the schedule of all of our committee meetings coming up. Any other questions, comments? I just double check the chat.
Okay, hold on. Well, Lana's gonna-
Kathy, I just wanted to add that I did manage to put our email in the chat. So if there's anybody listening in person or virtually that would like to be included on our mailing list for MailChimp that is not already, to please put your email in the chat. And thank you.
I also put the notice of the presentation in the chat.
Thank you, Alana.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Alana. Thanks, Jackie. Our next meeting will be, our next full council meeting will be on Tuesday, December 16th. We do not have a confirmed in-person location at this point. So if anyone would like to host us, more than happy to. December 16th. We do have locations for January and February lined up. So if you are able to host and want to host us, we do have availability for our December as well as March, April, May, and June. AHRC. And February is at Birch.
When is our next one? What date is the next one?
December 16th.
Can I look into if we can host it again and make it easier since you all know how to get here now?
Absolutely.
And please, excuse the glitches that we had. By then, it'll be better. So I'll just check the calendar,
Okay.
please. If we have the room.
If you'd like to host, you can email me, Kathy, Kathy .Kelly at ahrcnyc.org. And I'm putting that in the chat as we speak. And that will do it. Thank you again. Great turnout.
Mary, don't close the chat yet, okay?
Not a problem.
Thank you.
I would say we have about 20 people in person today, so great turnout. 33. Yeah.
Very good.
So looking forward to seeing everybody in December, and have a very happy festive Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. Thanks all.
Hi, Mary. This is Dialom. So have just like a regular question. Coming more as a parent, if I need help with the Medicaid recertification process, who can I contact for my son who has he has his OPWDD? I'm having issues with them recertifying me.
Do you have a care manager?
I do. I do. And normally we've recertified. It hasn't been an issue, but this time around it's like the Medicaid portion is giving me a harder time.
Yes, and first of all, you're not alone with that. Please understand.
Yay.
And this comes from a couple of things, primarily because of the federal changes, although none of the federal changes to Medicaid have begun. However, one of the requirements post-pandemic is that each state ensures the annual recertification and verification of Medicaid eligibility by the end of this year. And some of that may include a determination of somebody's disability status, which is very different and distinct from OPWDDs. So there may be additional requirements for that. Your care manager should be assisting you with the recertification process. Each
Okay, and then they're asking
CCO
now
also
for like,
has,
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
each CCO also has a benefits and entitlements unit
Uh-huh.
that if the actual care manager doesn't have, the skills necessary, they can also access their benefits and entitlements.
Yeah, because they're asking now for like my income taxes for my son who's 10.
How old is your son?
10.
10. Okay. What I would highly suggest is that you, in the recertification documents, you also include is he currently waiver enrolled?
Yes, he is.
Okay, then I would suggest you include a copy of the HCBS waiver notice of decision.
HCB waiver notice of decision. Okay, and the care manager should have that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. So
yeah.
take that. I'm gonna literally, I don't know, but I figured I was like you guys. So I'm a provider, but also too figured I had just a lot of questions. So as a parent, thank you so much. I really appreciate the space to ask the questions. I figured I couldn't be the only one, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, so you said it was the HBC waiver of decision, right?
It's HCBS. It stands for the Home and Community-Based Service Waiver.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna reach out to my care manager and like just touch base with him. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
All right, bye.
Bye. Alana, you good with the chat?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks,
Take care.
Bye, thank you.